Hello everyone, my name is Amar and I would like to welcome you all to the day one of SQL journey. If you are someone who has never worked with database before, or if unlike SQL, tables and databases sound completely which are completely new to you, so then don't worry. This series is specially designed for beginners. Our goal is to learn SQL from scratch and understand how the data is getting stored, how to work with databases, how you will be able to fetch the data, how you will create tables, and it will help you in your professional journey. So, in this session, we are going from the scratch the meaning of SQL and how you will write a queries in real-time projects. So, this is our first day. By the end of the journey, you will have a strong foundation in SQL and you will be able to write a query confidently. So, during this series, we are going to learn a MySQL. There are other way, so we can also learn. And I will give the overview of all the databases that real time we will work and the industry work on it. Before we start with writing SQL query, it is important to understand what SQL actually is and why it is one of the most demanded skill in IT industry. So basically SQL stand for structure query language. It is a standard language used to communicate with databases. Whenever we want to store the data, retrieve data, update information or delete the data from database, SQL help us to perform this operation. In simple word, SQL act as a bridge between users and the databases, just like a English language that we use or Hindi language. To communicate with, we use Hindi or English, both the language, translate our words and communicate with people. Thus, that is the same way we use SQL to connect and discuss our query, to get the data, to write the different queries, delete queries, drop queries, create tables, retrieve data, insert data, all the things that we have to write and work on, we will use SQL. It is a programming language. Basically, it is not a programming language, it is a structured query language that we are going to use. Now, the next question is what exactly is a database? So, database is nothing but a collection of data that can be easily accessible. For example, there are two types of language. One is two types of databases. One is relational database, and another one is a non-relational database. So, in this session, we are going to learn about relational databases. So, relational databases are a collections of tables. And what is database? Database is an organized collection of data that can be easily accessed, managed and updated. For example, जैसे कि हमें पता है कोई बुक है, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारा कोई शॉप है, इन दैट केस we will arrange all the customer data manually कोई बुक में. So that is our data. जो हमारे कस्टमर का जो डेटा होता है जो हम हमारे बुक में नोट डाउन करते हैं, और किसी की चीज़ें है कितने पैसे बाकी है, कितने पैसे देने हैं, कितना सामान लिया है और कितना सामान आज लिया है कल लिया है. सो वी विल नोट इट डाउन ऑल द थिंग्स दैट that was customer buy from our shop. So that is data. And to collect this data, we will use one notebook that is called a database. This is the simple way. There is same thing that will happen in a SQL. Database is nothing but a collection of data that will help us to store all the data which we receive from our clients as per our requirement, and we will, once we receive, we will store the data in the form of tables. How can we say tables? We will create one tables. We will create one columns for that tables and some rows. So we will store the data in column and row format. This is the way we use to store the databases and the store on to store the data. This is all about data. Let's take an example, a real-time example. Just think about your mobile phone. It store your contacts, messages, photos, videos, and application data. Similarly, companies store the customer information, employee records, sales data, product details, different types of product they have, their price, the quantity, and all the things that they have. So to store this and to arrange this data, we will use a databases. Nowadays, in our past, we use and we also have used different files and notebooks to store, and we had work manually to store all the data. But nowadays it is a changing era, and it is very easy to store the data and keep the data for a long time. So to store this and make it possible, we use our databases, and to fetch this all the data we use SQL languages, which make more secure, faster access, and easier management of the data. Let's understand and with real-time example. Imagine you are working in a school that has more than 5,000 students. Every student has their information such as student ID, name, age, class, address, and contact number. If all this information is maintained manually on paper, finding a specific student detail will take a lot of time. So, however, if the information is stored in a database, we can use a SQL query to find the required information within a second. For example, if the principal wants a list of students from class 10, in SQL, we can write a query and can retrieve the information instantly within a 1 minute using a SQL query. So it will help us and manage our times and secure our data. That is why database is important. So basically, as I already told you, one is relational database and another one is a NoSQL. So most of the company we work on relational, and some of them also work on NoSQL. In relational database, we store all the data in the form of tables, that is row and columns. And another one is a NoSQL. In NoSQL, we store all the data in document format. And basically, we use MongoDB and Redis to store this data. We will learn in depth later. So today is our introduction day. So we just get a review. And in this series, we are going to learn about MySQL databases. So what are the advantages? We can use SQL and MySQL. Why do we use MySQL database? And so the main advantage are cross-platform. So we can easily use MySQL database on any platform. There is no limitation for the platform. We can use on Windows, we can use on Linux, we can use on Macs and Ubuntu also. Second is language independent. We can use with multiple language also like Python, Java and other language. It is a third advantage is it is a open source. There is no need to purchase any kind of subscriptions to learn SQL. It is a open source and free of cost. You can learn, you can use multiple online resources to understand the concepts. Here we are going to use SQL Workbench where we will write our queries. Fourth advantage it is a RDBMS, Relational Database Management, and the main and the most important advantage of MySQL it is a faster as compared to other databases. So these are all the things which are going to learn in this series. Okay. Um, Now let's understand some important database concept that every beginner should know. The first concept is table. A table is where data is stored inside a database. A table consists of row and columns. You can compare a table to an Excel spreadsheet just as Excel store information in row and columns. Database also store the information in the same way. Okay. So before learning anything and before going to learn more things, we will go through the SQL working diagram. Let's take an example of email. For example, कोई नया यूजर है ओके लेट्स टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ बैंकिंग सिस्टम कोई फॉर एग्जांपल मैं मुझे कोई अकाउंट निकालना है कोई बैंक में सो इन दैट केस आई विल क्रिएट वन अकाउंट इन बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका और बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा सो इन दैट केस क्या होगा कि जब मेरा कोई अकाउंट क्रिएट होगा आई विल हैव अ credential I will have a password so I will write my password and a username to open and to check all the details. So once I write a username and password, it will go to the database data. Then it will write an internal query, convert our business user language in SQL language. Then it will goes to the database as per the requirement. He will check the credentials, the username and the password of the persons. If the password and the username is correct, then it will allow to enter in inside the given application. And the user and the business user can check all the details. If he enter wrong password, then it will not allow and he will give it you a pop-up as enter a correct password. So as per the requirement, you will get the all the and you can pay the data from and you can check all the details using a language called as SQL. So that is why SQL is important. So thanks so much all of you. So let's meet in second session. We will start and we will install all the SQL query and the other concepts that are remaining in our previous sessions or in the given session. Thank you.